This is the place to find yourself.
Istanbul offers great universities and the lifestyle is really amazing here.
So I live at the dorms at Maltepe University and I'm really happy with it. There's a cleaning service every few days and then there's the library nearby which is open 24/7.
My first impression when I came was like, it's huge. You have everything in one place.
When you first come to Maltepe University, you don't know where what is and you're like, oh my God, I need help. Guess what? You're not alone. There is the international office people over there. They're like family. They're very helpful and they're always there for you.
Istanbul is the perfect mixture between ancient and modern. Coming into the city helps me discover myself, learn about so many different cultures, learning about the world, which will help me in writing future books.
At Maltepe University, we have a lot of research centers. Because of that, we have the ability to participate in a lot of international projects.
Here at Maltepe University, the education consists of both practical and theoretical. We get the opportunity to practice everything we learn in class in real life. So after we graduate, we have a degree and we can work all over the world.
People come to Istanbul all the time, but what they really miss when they visit are the antique shops, which contain thousands of years of memories and also a thread of the modern future.
I like to use every minute and just get out and hop on the ferry and just go from the Asian side to the European side and just enjoy the wonderful weather with the wonderful Bosphorus behind me and just enjoying the moment of Istanbul.
Istanbul is very beautiful with great culture.
This city is the symbol of diversity. Come and study at Maltepe University.
Come here and feel like you're home.
Dear participants and guests, we are happy to open the first session of the second day of ARTCONS International Fine Arts and Conservatory Student Congress. Today, first session will start with online exhibition video and later on, participants are going to present their presentations. When first session ended, we are going to take a break about 1 hour. When we come back, second session will go on with presentations, announcements of the Congress Awards and side events. Thank you all for your participations. And the first presenter is Begüm Ünlü from Sakarya University. Her presentation title is Resort of Arrangement Song in Turkey about French and Greek music. I welcome her to present her presentation to the stage.
Hello to everyone. My name is Begüm and my surname is Ünlü. I am a graduate student, Sakarya University Institute of Social Sciences, Music Sciences. We will make this presentation with my advisor, Professor Dr. Nilgün Sazak. Today, in terms of French and Greek music recording arrangement song in Turkey, I will make the presentation named. First of all, I want to talk about what I will tell today. Our presentation plan as follows. Introduction, methodology, findings, results, suggestion, references. Turkish have had multifaceted interaction with culture with close contacts, such as French, Spanish, Italian, Greek, Arabic for centuries. In addition to showing simulations in language, clothing, behavior, nutrition culture, there are also changes and developments in music culture. According to the research for the first time in Turkey as of 1961 new Turkish version, French songs were produced and distributed off the market. Studies have shown that between 1961 to 1991, French and Greek songs were delivered to idols with their new Turkish lyrics. The other words, with notes and melodies of foreign origin, these new songs are embedded with words to listen and find himself or change the prepositions of listeners. Leaving the music background the same, the new composition made the changing the words of the main work and named arrangements. In the 1960s, when the arrangement started to become widespread, the term light music was used instead of the term arrangement. In Turkey, changing the lyrics of Western music composition tunes with the same words and different music products are called arrangements. The first Turkish adaptation of the French pop song were released in Turkey 1961 by the Ocean Company lyrics and music producer Ferdi Ebcioğlu. The 1960s songs of the Turkish song Azam, Turkish song Setting Vayansiyals was named Bak Bir Varmış Bir Yokmuş and the singer İlhan Gencer performed by. The golden age of the arrangement was the 1960s and 1970s. The arrangement became so popular in Turkey that even some Western singers, the Adama, performed their songs in the Turkish spread. For a while, almost all singers sang in the arrangement under the leadership of names such as Fecri Ebcioğlu and Sezen Cumhur Önal. Many interpreters from Ajda Pekkan to Nesrin Sipahi have and arrangement songs. Arrangement studies in the Turkey are among the remarkable issues. These studies were carried out by both local and foreign researchers. As a result of the researchers' studies such as academic papers, articles, theses, studies, and books have emerged. Let's take a look at the methodology section now. Purpose of the study: this study aims to examine the awareness and expectations of the pretended subjects arrangement by the Turkish idols. To achieve its goal, answer to the following question will be sought. The first one: what are the musical tastes of the participants in the research? The second one is considering take the use of Greek and French pop music together with Turkish lyrics in Turkey throughout the 20th century. Is the leader aware that the arrangement is listening to the song? The third one is by whom did the arranger's songs reach the consumers? The fourth one is how long have the arranged songs reached the consumers? The importance of the reaches the song simple selection from the period when the production of Turkish adapted songs models was the most interest in the important the term of collection and interpreting the data of the analysis in the research. Methods realized and the current are the using the descriptive screen model. Research data were collected through a literature review and a questionnaire from presently by researcher in the line expert opinion. Universe sample. In the study while meeting and the case examining the arrangements songs with the listener creates the universe. The consumption of the song Her Yerde Kar Var and Her Şey Yak selection amongst French and Greek arrangement song constitutes the sample for consumption over the age range 18 to 65. Sampling methods used. In the study age, gender, socioeconomic status, education, and so on. The stratified sampling method will be used because it carries a heterogeneous structure. Analysis of data. In addition to the literature review, a questionnaire from prepared by the research in the line with expansion opinion was used to opinion research data. The survey data were analyzed used the SPSS for Windows 22 program. Let's move on to finding selection. Ajda Pekkan songs Her Yerde Kar Var took its place in the market in the 1993. These songs was sung again by different Turkish artists at different times. The original of the songs is Tambalanenja Salvador Adamo. I want to introduce the other songs, the songs Her Şey Yak, which was first performed, the song Her Şey Yak was first performed by Sezen Aksu. In 1991, took its place in the market again by the Duman Group in 2002. The origin of the songs in Mia Pista Apo Posforo by Haris Alexiou. I would like to briefly listen to song selects for the survey application in the research. Since time is limited, I will listen to songs by Ajda Pekkan and Salvador Adamo.
Tombe la neige, tu ne viendras pas ce soir. Tombe la neige, et mon cœur s'habille de noir. Ce soyeux cortège, tout en larmes blanches, l'oiseau sur la branche pleure le sortilège.
I think that's enough. Now we will listen to the songs called Her Yerde Kar Var from Ajda Pekkan.
Her yerde kar var, kalbim senin için. Her yerde kar var, kalbim senin için. Belki gelirsin sen, bakarken pencereden. Gözler yalnız özler, karda senden izler.
I think that's enough. The feedbacks of the question we asked the participants is including the chart in my full text. Since I have limited time, I will count on this song and chart. Data were classes in the 3 groups according to the age groups. Comments have been made groups according to this classification. As seen in the chart, most of the participants answer yes to the question. The answer of the participants between the age of 18 to 33, which we can accept as the young generation, were very close to each other. It was relevant that other age group participants gave. A more specifically answer and accepted the exactly of the arrangement songs asked specifically for Ajda Pekkan. I want to complete my words with a question conclusion. According to the survey in 260 participants. First results regarding sub-problem. What are the music tastes of the participants in the search? It was being determined that the most admired period in the music of the 90s. Second results sub-problem. Considering take the use of Greek and French pop music together with Turkish lyrics and the Turkish throughout the 20th security is the listener award that the arrangement is listened to the song. It was concluding that most of Ajda Pekkan's lyrics were arranged while the lyrics of the Duman group were not arranged song. Third result regarding sub-problem. By whom did the arranged songs reach the consumers? According to the answer received, it was concluding that every age group and this artist who is mostly friendly list to be both family and friends. Fourth result regarding sub-problem. How long these arranged songs reach the consumer? It was determined that the participants in the 18 to 33 age group did not listen to the song Her Yerde Kar Var, while choose those in the 34 to 65 our group listened to it between the years old 1989 and 1992. Suggestion. First, in this research, the song translate from French and Greek into Turkish were analyzing the song arranged in different languages in other studies by different researchers. Second, in their work on arrangements, establishing a relationship between the words of the work in the native language and the words in the intermediate language. Third, other research in their work on arrangement is recommended to examine the similarities and difference between the clip in which the work was first presentation and the next clip and was arranged. I complete my presentation by explaining my thanks to Professor Dr. Nilgün Sozak for the support in the presentation. Thanks to you for listening to. I wish you a healthy day. Have a nice day.
Thank you, Begüm Ünlü, for your great presentation. Second presenter is Mehmet Akif Özdal from Sivas Cumhuriyet University. His presentation title is Analysis of the Self-Structure of the Elderly Characters in the Picture-Used Children's Books. I invite him to present his presentation. Mehmet Akif. Kameranı açabilir misin? Mikrofonunu da açabilir misin? Açık mı? Sesimi duyuyorsan konuşabilir misin? Mehmet Akif. Beni duyabiliyor musun? Then we will go on with next presenter. Next presenter is Sabri Gürkan Aslan from MUISC University. His presentation title is Takashi Murakami Aesthetics and Flower Matango. I invite him to present his presentation.
Thank you very much. Dear President and dear participants, you are all welcome. First of all, I'd like to thank everyone who contributed to this valuable Congress. Before starting the presentation, I'd like to introduce myself briefly. My name is Gürkan Aslan. I'm a graduate student at MUISC University, Department of Art Theory and Criticism. My main fields of study are East and Southeast Asian art and art sociology. Today, I will present you Japanese artist Takashi Murakami, one of the most important figures in neopop art, and some of his works. I will introduce them in the context of eclectic structure, collage, multiple spaces and times, multiculturalism, blurring of the original copy distinction. You may find the detailed study of the presentation in the Congress booklet. Flower Matango is regarded as the starting point of Japanese neopop culture represented by Takashi Murakami. Matango is originally a 1963 Japanese movie about a group of people stranded on an island filled with horrible mushrooms. Using the otaku aesthetic as a tool to penetrate Western artistic values, Murakami has developed a style that is both entertaining and also disturbing. This theory, called superflat, legitimizes the low Japanese art that appeals to high art lovers in the West, and on the other hand, closes the difference between traditional and contemporary thought. Murakami combined references to Japanese pop culture with the rich artistic heritage of the country, effectively eliminating any distinction between commodity and high art. Takashi Murakami's work in Japan is cited as a new example of neopop due to his use of popular anime images in the superflat style and his successful partnership with fashion labels such as Louis Vuitton. As the artist re-evaluates the role of art as a commodity in itself, he continues to break down the barrier between high and low art forms. Postmodern felsefenin ruhuna uygun olarak postmodern sanat, her türlü teknik ve kavramsal çerçeveyi yadsımaya ve aşmaya çalışan, kendi bireyselliği ve biricikliği içinde tikel, göreli, olumsal ve belirsiz yapıtlar üretmeye yönelir. Bir sonraki sunuma geçelim lütfen. Farklı tekniklerin iç içe geçtiği ve farklı materyallerin eklektik bir tarzda birbirine eklemlenebildiği bu yapıtları herhangi bir sergi salonunda ya da sahne performansında görmek olasıdır. Yeri geldiğinde resimsiz bir tablo, bir klozet ya da bir plastik kutu da bir serginin içeriğini oluşturabilir. Feyerabend'in dediği gibi her şey her şeye uyar. Eski ve geleneksel bir sanatsal ifade ya da materyal, yeni ve modern bir ifade ve materyal ile yan yana durabilir. Burada amaçlanan rasyonel, sistematik, tanımlanabilir ve baskın varsayımlardan insan algısını özgürleştirmek, tikel ve olumsal olana yol açmaktır. Neopop, pop art'ın kasıtlı bir biçimde kullanıldığı kiç ve ticarileşme gibi özelliklerini 20. yüzyılın ortalarından itibaren estetik ve tüketim fikirlerini yeniden yorumlamak adına kullanmıştır. Aslen neopop, işbirlikçi bir kolektif olmaktan çok sanatsal bir eğilimi ifade eder. Özellikle 1980'li yılların, bir sonraki sunuma geçelim lütfen. Özellikle 1980'li yılların New York kentinde dikkati çeken bu yaklaşım, bir sonraki sunum lütfen, pop art ile benzer temaları ele almıştır. Devam edelim lütfen. Örneğin kapitalizm ve tüketim kültürünün temsili olan şöhret kültürü, cazibeli bir biçimde sunulan hızlı tüketim malzemeleri ile bu malzemelerin reklamını yapmak amacıyla kullanılan fotoğraf, film, afiş, poster, logo gibi ürünler. Devam edelim lütfen. Neopop'u pop art'tan ayıran en önemli fark ise zihniyettir. Minimalist ve kavramsalcılık bağlamı içerisinde yetişen sanatçılar, her ne kadar estetik kısıtlamalara karşı olsalar da bu üslupların bazı entelektüel ilgilerini ve yöntemlerini kullanmışlardır. Devam edebiliriz. Japonya'da ise Takashi Murakami'nin çalışmaları Superflat tarzında popüler anime görüntülerini kullanması ve Louis Vuitton gibi moda etiketleriyle yapmış olduğu başarılı ortaklıklar nedeniyle Neopop'un daha yeni bir örneği olarak gösterilir. Bu sanatçılar sanatın kendi içinde bir meta olarak rolünü yeniden değerlendirirken yüksek ve düşük sanat biçimleri arasındaki engeli yıkmaya devam etmektedirler. Asya sanat dünyasında gerçek bir yıldız olarak tanımlanabilecek birisi olsaydı, o da Japon Warhol olarak da bilinen Takashi Murakami olurdu. Çocukluğundan beri manga ve anime hayranı olan Murakami, geleneksel Japon çizim sanatı olan Nihonga'da ustalaşarak resim, heykel gibi disiplinlerin yanı sıra ticari amaçlı reklam ve moda çalışmalarıyla da tanındı. Bir sonraki sunum lütfen. Klasik üslupla birlikte sokak sanatı, çizgi roman, bilim kurgu ve animasyonlardan çeşitli ögeleri harmanladığı, yer yer çocuksu, parlak renkli ve fütüristik çalışmalarıyla öne çıkan Murakami, 1994 yılında bir yıllık bursla New York'taki PS1 Uluslararası Stüdyo Programı'na katıldı. Anselm Kiefer ve özellikle Jeff Koons'tan etkilenerek Japonya dönüşü kendi stüdyosunu kurdu. Devam edelim. Genç Murakami, Amerika'da bulunduğu dönemde yapmış olduğu gözlemlerin etkisiyle geleneksel sanata olan ilgisini kaybetti ve kendi stilini oluşturmaya başladı. Devam edelim. 2000 yılında Museum of Contemporary Art Los Angeles'ta katıldığı grup sergisinde Superflat adlı geleneksel sanata ve savaş sonrası popüler kültüre dair yorumlarını içeren teorisini yayımladı. 2002'de Marc Jacobs'un davetiyle Louis Vuitton için çanta tasarlayan sanatçı Kanye West, Pharrell Williams, Billie Eilish, J Balvin gibi popüler isimlerle birlikte pek çok markayla da işbirliği yaptı. 2001'de Kaikai Kiki Company isimli şirketini kuran sanatçı, Copyright Murakami isimli retrospektifini Museum of Contemporary Art Los Angeles, Brooklyn Museum New York ve Guggenheim Bilbao gibi uluslararası kurumlarda sergiledi. Bir sonraki sunum lütfen. Erken dönem karakterlerinden olan Mr. Dobb'un güzel sanatlar sahnesine ilk çıkışı 727 adıyla 3 panelli tuval üzerine akrilik tekniğiyle yapılan sanat eseriyle olmuştur. Bir sonraki lütfen. Murakami 1996'da yarattığı büyük ölçekli çalışmada ana karakter olarak efsanevi Japon sanatçı Hokusai'nin tahta baskılarında bulunan bir okyanus dalgasının geleneksel tasvirini çağrıştıran motifleri kullanır. Devam edelim lütfen. Tüm çalışmaları arasında sanatçının ilk karikatürü olan Mr. Dob en ünlüsüdür. Karakter adı Japonca Dobojite veya neden deyiminden gelen keskin dişli ancak eğlenceli bir karakteri canlandırır. Bu soru izleyiciye Murakami'nin cansız ve boş tüketici toplumu hakkındaki muhalif görüşünü yansıtır. Yapıta ilk bakışta Mr. Dob ve Mickey Mouse arasındaki benzerlik kolaylıkla görülür. Murakami, İkinci Dünya Savaşı sonrası Amerikan alt kültürünün Japonya'da etkili olmasını, Japon siyasetinin, toplumunun ve kültürünün yetersizliğinin bir sonucu olarak görür ve bu eseriyle eleştirir. Karışık alt metin yapısı Murakami'nin tipik karakteristiklerinden olup bu eserde çok katmanlı anlam görüntüsüyle ortaya çıkmaktadır. Esere dikkatle bakıldığında sol kulakta D, yüzün oval kısmında O, sağ kulakta ise B harflerinin ustaca imgenin üzerine gizlenmiş olduğu görülür. Murakami, 2001 yılında yaptığı retrospektif çalışmasında Walt Disney'in Mickey Mouse gibi ünlü karakterlerin dünya çapındaki popülerliğini araştırdıktan sonra animeden ilham alan bu maskotu ortaya çıkardığını ifade etmiştir. Bir sonraki sunum lütfen. Murakami'nin sanatsal pratiği çok geniştir. Moda, film ve diğer ticari alanlara yayılır. Ancak sembolleri ve ilgi alanları daha derin dürtülerden gelir. Örneğin Murakami'nin çalışmalarında mantar kullanımı hem popüler uyuşturucu kültürlerini hem de tarihsel kaygıları ele alır. Bir sonraki sunum lütfen. Bir diğer çalışması olan 2011 tarihli Nurse Co. 2 ise otaku'nun pek çok özelliğini kapsayan bir kavram olan güzel kız stili ile kabaca eşdeğer olan Bishoujo kültürünü yansıtır. Bishoujo, genellikle erkek çocuklarının fantezilerine dayanan, dişinin abartılı, gerçekçi olmayan ve fetişleştirilmiş bir versiyonudur. Murakami bu eserinde kısmen çizgi film, kısmen saf ergenlik arzuları, kısmen de pornografinin 3 unsurunun karışımını, erotik bir şekilde yüklü ama aptalca görünen heykelsi bir görünüme dönüşmüştür. Devam edelim lütfen. Japonya'nın modernizasyon sürecinde popüler olan Nihonga resimlerinin iki boyutlu ve düzlemsel doğasını ve anime alt kültürüne ait 1979 tarihli Galaxy Express'i gibi çalışmalara duyulan ilgiyi fark eden Murakami, böylelikle Japon sanatının karakterinin düzlemsellikte bulunduğunu keşfeder. Murakami'nin yapmış olduğu bu estetik gözlem, sanatçının çağdaş Japon kültürünü superflat kavramı ile nitelendirmesine neden olmuştur. Ona göre bu kültür, geleneksel Japon sanatı ve Batı kültürü ile olan etkileşimler ile birlikte gelişen manga, anime ve video oyunlarına duyulan saplantının bir ürünüydü. Murakami, otaku estetiğini batılı sanatsal değerlere nüfuz edeceği bir araç olarak kullanarak bir yandan eğlendiren, aynı zamanda da rahatsızlık veren üslubunu geliştirmiştir. Superflat adını verdiği bu teori, batıda bulunan yüksek sanat severlere hitap eden, diğer yandan da geleneksel ve çağdaş düşünce arasındaki farkı kapatan düşük Japon sanatını meşru kılmaktadır. Superflat, Japon sanatının sadece iki boyutlu yaklaşımla değil, aynı zamanda tüketim kültürünün düz ve sığlığı üzerine de eleştiren bir bakıştır. Bir sonraki sunuma geçebiliriz. Devam edelim lütfen. James ve Javier Weyland gibi çağdaşlarını izleyen Murakami, 2010 yılında 14. Louis tarafından yaptırılan Versailles Sarayı'na davet edilerek bu gösterişli ortamda bir sergi açtı. Murakami Versailles adlı sergide sarayın barok fonu, sanatçının cesur ve renkli eserleri için mükemmel bir ortam yarattı. Devam edelim lütfen. Post-pop sanatçının 22 adet eseri sarayın 15 odası ve bahçelerinde yer almıştır. Devam edebiliriz lütfen. Sanatçı bu sergide sanat, yapıt ve bağlama arasındaki karşıtlıklarla örtüşen pek çok noktayı ele alır. Bu sergi, devam edelim lütfen. Murakami'nin var olan uluslararası ünü ve sanat dünyasının ötesinde popüler kültür, ticaret ve moda dünyası içerisinde değerlendirilen eserlerine duyulan ilgiye seyircinin ilk elden tanıklık etmesine de olanak sağlamıştır. Burada sergiden birkaç adet görüntü görmekteyiz. Devam edebiliriz lütfen. Evet. Muhtemelen Takashi Murakami'nin en sembolik karakterlerinden birisi, ilk kez Murakami'nin Tokyo Güzel Sanatlar Üniversitesi'ne giriş sınavlarında ortaya çıkan şeker renkli, sonsuz biçimde gülümseyen çiçeklerdir. Murakami daha sonra bu tekno renkli çiçekleri eserlerinin çoğunda kullanmaya başladı. Bu çok özel karakterin birkaç farklı versiyonu vardır ve çoğunlukla litografi şeklindedir. Ancak en bilinen çalışması olan Flower Matango ilk olarak heykel formunda Versailles Sarayı'nda sergilendi ve Murakami'yi eserleri orada sergilenen üçüncü sanatçı ve aynı zamanda ilk Japon sanatçı yaptı. Versailles Sarayı'nda sergilenen eserler arasında yer alan Flower Matango, Aynalar Galerisi'nin en dikkat çekici yerine yerleştirilmiş, büyük sayılacak ebatta ki 315, 204 ve 263 santimdir bu ebatlar, fiberglass ve demirden yapılan bir vazodur. Küreye benzer formun üzeri Murakami'nin karakteristik stilize çiçekleriyle kaplıdır ve etrafı da karışık çiçek saplarıyla çevrilidir. Kullanılan renkler opak ve doygundur. Üzerinde de kalın ve parlak bir tabaka vernik bulunur. Flower Matango'da 300'e yakın farklı pigment kullanılmıştır. Bu farklı tonlar her yaştan izleyiciyi çocukluklarına geri getirmeyi amaçlar. Murakami bu yaklaşımını The Declaration of Native'de şöyle açıklar. Manganın estetiği benzersizdir. İçinizdeki çocuğunuza dokunacak ve çocukluğunuzdaki güzel anları hatırlamanıza izin verecek. Flower Matango'nun parlak renkleri mangada bulunanlara benzeyen tatlı ve canlı karakterlerle tamamlanır. Çalışma, izleyiciyi bu değerli anları yeniden yaşamak için zamanda geriye götürür. Murakami eserlerine manga kültürü unsurlarını aşılayarak izleyicide kasıtlı olarak eşsiz bir deneyim uyandırmayı hedeflemiştir. Eserin bütününe bakıldığında tipik bir çizgi film karakteri görüntüsü yansıtır. Bilinçli bir şekilde yapılan bu hiper yapay görüntüyle sanatsal tavır bakımından Murakami'nin eseri olduğu kolaylıkla anlaşılır. Bu sanatsal tavır, 2001 yılında Los Angeles'ta bulunan Museum of Contemporary Art'ta aynı adla açılan ve küratörlüğünü Murakami'nin yaptığı sergi sonrasında Superflat olarak adlandırdığı estetik yaklaşımdır. Murakami, geliştirmiş olduğu Superflat kavramı ile yüksek ve alçak kültür arasındaki farkın çağımızda büyük oranda kalkarak düzleştiği ya da eşitlendiği ve böylece neredeyse sınıfsız bir toplum yapısının oluştuğuna dair bir yorumda bulunur. Versailles Sarayı ise popüler kültürden beslenen bu yapıt için ideal bir sergi alanıdır. Binanın erken rokoko tarzı süslemeleri, Murakami'nin materyalizmini adeta kucaklar ve çocuksu bir kiçin büyüsüne kapıldığını vurgular. Heykelin savurgan görüntüsü, 14. Louis ve Marie Antoinette'in gösterişli zevkiyle eşleşirken, sanatçının arka plan olarak geleneksel ulusal hazineyi kullanması ilginç ama tartışmalı bir tezat oluşturur. Bu bağlamda Murakami, sanat piyasasına yeni ve eşsiz bir Japon yorumu getirmiştir. Sonuç olarak Fransız kraliyet ailesinin ve çağdaş neopop art kralının karşıt estetiği eşit derecede gösterişli, çatışmacı ve mistiktir. Devam edelim lütfen. Dinlediğiniz için çok teşekkür ediyorum. Katılımcı arkadaşlarıma da başarılı sunumlar diliyorum. Teşekkür ederim.
Thank you, Sabri Gürkan Aslan, for your enlightening presentation. Next presenter is Mehmet Akif Özdal again. His presentation title is Analysis of the Self-Structure of the Elderly Characters in the Picture-Used Children's Book. Later on, he will present his second presentation named Designing Virtual Museum Interface in the Context of Design Principles. I invite him to present his presentations.
First of all, hello, my name is Mehmet Akif Özdal. I started my painting education by continuing my primary, secondary, and high school education in Sivas. After discovering my talent for painting at a young age, I started the painting department at the High School of Fine Arts 2014 and have been studying drawing since periods and for a long time. After high school education, I achieved success by taking the painting exam of the Faculty of Education of Sivas Cumhuriyet University, and I want the art business teaching department precedence for education. This is my field. I wanted to gain different perspectives by interesting branch, web design, and coding. Second, university departments of photography and cameraman and children development. I have registered as part of the project of development myself is different branches related to department, and I'm currently continuing my education as the third-year student, the Faculty of Painting Teaching of Sivas Cumhuriyet University. Which are of great importance in human life and the lives of children from early children and show themes and internally part of this life. These books which are included in children's life support and development imagination they need to have in order to become involved who think and predict actively in their future life, offering creative action and emotion. The only benefit of community that children as stability, white books as stability in early childhood is not sports. They are initiated a psychosocial reference and pointing for children that will allow them to reveal their behavior and attitudes. According to the models and raise the children character in the books and the event parents the books help children understanding the world through the eyes of other, and on the other hand help them develop a view and themselves and the world. For this reason books which are on of the important education material in children lies describe all areas of development of children: mental, emotional, social, language, psychomotor, sexual, and moral. In this process, when children receive information from books, develop both listening to attending skills and sports their ability to relate events so at this stage, which is the basic for a long-term love of reading text to book. Children's world of the emotion become rich and allows them a social and in lives. Books contain of characters driving paper for children can lead to children not loving and describing as they love people with spiriting them in these project books actually allow children to recognize different types and character of people but give them is evolution projects. The all the characters will know more about these kids in picture books. The project discovery that in devolution will give up the individual and core health considering the benefit that brings to the development of children, the children which is prepare for the continue of characters, especially older to connote the kinds of books that continue the characters, the children's age ranges, the development projects and phenomena that are operated for the children. It is important for individual to available sizes and daily detect. In addition, give that children have different development characters from each other. It is unthinkable that all picture books that contain all the characters for children have the same characters. It is contact a wide range of illustrated children's books are available today. For example, toy books, ABZ books, concept books, cloth books, both books are some of their however in all their taste of books illustrated children's book have a special fans illustrated children's books especially books with older Kara. Method of study with yes method of study. If I mention the method and method that is I use in the formal project of my work, the study was started by literature review method and concluded by literature review and interpreter of selected scanning the place and importance of the concepts at the childhood level was defined by defined social concepts and a social projects related to what their impact is on illustrated children's book. In addition, the close relationships of illustrated children's book with the formation projects in children development projects by designing to the level of children and comparing there with real events was studied and the energy of the impact of children's book eyes painting was in my if mentioned the last part that is the Russell part concerning the fact that their external historical characters is of children's book are not influenced by the culture in which they are published, but universal adapted children development characters. It is possible to see the reflection of social structure and physical characters in characters books that contain a number of older characters as well as the constellation that children's book that contain older characters have different in terms of including formal characters of the enduring structure that is cultural characters of the painting. In addition, the concept described the time food careless suck a deathbed, cruelly adulthood, old age from the projects with the early period should be included in the educational curriculum in order to be more accurately and thoroughly understood by children. I cool children's knowledge of the old age projects contribute to people's empathy towards people involved in old age. If I can gather in childhood and again age, naturally of the interhood revealed to the concept of sensitivity and empathy training that allowed you gain considering that they operate to the ban of the tools illustrated in children's books, young reader of reading a child that holds the image presented in the positive and negative effect on ongoing effect of the child's mind. For example, in literature works and cartoon animals, family characters in 60 rollers, the reflection of all the characters are transferred to being more ugly and with all the bad characteristics. It showed that the development process of girls in childhood negatively affect both body image. For this reason, the way in which one age and menstrual period characters are reflected in characters books that contain picture affect the thought and feeling of children to purchase the concept of marriage and old age. Also, another character of older character is the environment, and it's that they are sensitive to animals all and elderly character flower in the garden. They plant sport grandchildren in the love to the animals and the development take about to sensitive for love of animals and natural on of the steps to be taken the points of acquisition fictional text in the bright ever sun to children through it. For this reason, he is also all positive rendering of message given through its characters reference negative single view of living being in the work studies in when on of the old family character wants to kill the bug that live in the house. This message is given only through it older family characters and negative that it contains a message such and I think you're living get information private and the time in any team invited. In this project, virtual museum web design because they are product of both of the software and their interface is actually on museum with some of virtual museum the museum of the are the sense of reality even the track is not exactly the web design uh, thanks to the whistle the wouldn't get with along with the design digital image of virtual museum virtual to be available with see men on web design candidate and virtual design field stack as the link element can prevent many recommend to fill allow in visual element are in the web interface design. In face design, covering many art design element with writing design area are interactive and provide the emergence of visual products that are made meaningful. Design is one of the most important competing is of our lives although we not notice it is effect is a shovel itself a very single fence and veritable for this. This is a web interface design also always tools would say it's usually it influenced by the design in present interface design are correctly to make the software easy to uh, user web software. Just having web software in front and their user will make the design defined to understanding and difficulty to get out of. In this context, web interface doesn't aim to difficulties challenge do they either in this process there wander through the web design with the help of simple and clear visual elements with seeing the software in the back and miss what is next. Uh, Web interface design made with the framework of their virtual museum formation must provide the visitor with as much usable and navigable space to possible with the um, scope of the design elements available. On the other hand, show how effectively on uh, conveniently the visitor canon performance, the performance needed at the virtual museum, which can be to access information or examine and objects. Museum interface design they have not private. This will not be able to serve its visitor the userliness and will not fully reflect it is missing and interface designed accordingly with the boring and will cause them to leave before they can share the context to their visit. It in this context there are many sessions in conceptual at our about a category or chapter in hierarchical order. Otherwise it is um, unlikely that many texture and design elements will coexist in the virtual museum interface design. When we examine the concept with the rest in general scope, this design informal experience of the desired feeling direct with the ambition the communication with can say that the appearance of the design was created with the framework of the organization. The image imagined the mind with our mental diagrams and turning into a composition is order for our means to be organized, that is categorized design principles are needed design principles in this project along with their example of the same basic pedagogical as tools for creating for structure of design formal classification uh, can be made our means within the age and development factors. In fact, the design principles assets in a lot areas in this projects are also involved to creating of web software and that when we do see that is divided in the phase states to uh, creation web design by complementary each other. In other words, in web design, virtual design is creating with interface tech, interface design where we been development with the invention of the internet, which is the product of technology projects and have incredibly taken place in everyday life tech. Interface takes against the web design actuality as the visual face of the internet. In this way, either can't easily calculate information with the encoding the differential of software elements. But in order to answer this converting very web interface design must be designed with a oriented decorative design factory for user create complete and allow you to navigate the web design for the other of the speculate projects without creating a breakable or problem for this reason interface design are designed for different form of organization in a lot of similar hours are a common personal website compare website is there are is deck or as a virtual museum. For museum, for this reason, virtual museum can be designed to museum that are ready in the user projects and museum that do not have a physical space as well as in traditional day, as with a diagram navigation technique with a large number for city that are already general. It other works since there is not space phenomenon from styles do not have a constraints in environment. Their face design is usually designed with the concern of accessibility in the density of information and documented it is in which the image of the contracted works various images made as audio or video convenience. Designed in this way, virtual museum interface design allow usually visit to access information and documentary faster deck. Also, virtual museum first of all are virtual in the web environment thanks to the internet connected to often invalid to connect go to museum also provides the opportunity to visit the museum if you like at it from another single you can only virtual museum remote is not designed to some information and presents are also obtained during the museum visit through the higher rank forges connected or the expanded trying a virtual museum. Of course, the apostle in is possible in the way their museum and their virtual museum are contemporary to each other. Also, virtual museum with real museum, some information that can be obtained in the museum due to the fact in the also has some digital factually that are not operated might contain Ahmet Yakuboğlu Virtual Museum. In order for visitor to have a usable and satisfying experience when during the virtual museum trip, some capacitation must be added thanks to new software and with the compilation it is needed to try to invite the aesthetic integrated web infra design.
Mehmet, I'm sorry, I have to interrupt, but you have 3 minutes left. Could you be a little bit faster?
Okay, result. If I meant the last part that is the result part. In our age, the internet is a world there cover many years from coming the virtual museum tour. Thanks to their development of the technology, people are creating with the internet and control it, turning it into use it. They either want to achieve the best performance and functioning in this project, so he wants to reach and access this internet in every area he enter, and among which access our virtual museum and virtual museum platform. Many art educational department provide training for museum and virtual museum are using and experiment over the internet. Turning to virtual museum don't really need a physical uh, yeah, in this context, in the no country to use modern linear and color is the virtual museum as well is the possibility of proving and example of the design of art museum interface formation in the context of design problems providing a design that is at the forefront for as invited who cannot go to museum for visit the museum thanks to an internet connection in a really virtual web environment. In another ways, virtual museum aren't just designed for remote visit. Some information and experiment are also oriented training the museum visitory constellation, their knowledge and experiment through a virtual museum. Of course, the opposite is possible in this wide museum and the virtual museum complement each other. In addition, virtual museum many contain some information that cannot be operated in the museum as they have some digital factorials that are not ordered in real museum. Therefore, it creates either interface such a virtual museum quality and ordinary either that will be more virtual in terms of the quantity and quantity of ours included either interface to fakelets are against the must to design Pringles in the context of factors such as the of the clear and accessible of the informational there field formation with general itself will and promise. Listen, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mehmet Akif Özal, for your presentations. Last presenter of session first is Şerife Kılıç from Kocaeli University. Her presentation title is An Iconographic Examination of Hieronymus Bosch's Visions of the Hereafter, the Heaven and Hell Depictions. I welcome her to present her presentation to the stage.
Dear teachers, valuable students, and participants, I greet you all first. My name is Şerife Kılıç. I'm a student at Kocaeli University Faculty of Theology. The subject of my article, An Iconographic Examination of Hieronymus Bosch's Visions of the Hereafter, the Heaven and Hell Depictions. The Dutch painter Hieronymus Bosch offered depictions about the other world in paintings that contain heaven and hell imageries. The unquestionable symbolism of his works has been examined and interpreted intensely. The art historians of the 20th century concluded that he against religions, moving from the monstrous figures he created with his splendid imagination. On the contrary, he was a devout Christian, and his depictions regarding hereafter, heaven, and hell were shaped under the influence of his faith. Yes. The figures of his works represent superstitions and the fear of Western Middle Age Christian against hell. In each of his depictions, which he created in simple beauty and with his successful artistry, heaven and hell are represented differently, including the well-known triptych painting, Garden of the Earthly Delights. He used religious motifs in his artistry in many of his works, but interpreted passion, sin, and hereafter uniquely and distinguished himself from his contemporaries with his edgy style. He also included that monster that occupy his mind and haunt his dreams into his depictions. In this study, by examining the hereafter visions of Bosch, we intended to illustrate an edgy example of the Christian art's approach to the notion of otherworld. Bosch continues to inspire artists even after 500 years of his death, and he offered visions of hereafter with his mastery in art and a solid religious stance. These depictions and symbols have been explained thoroughly in the scope of our study. We have tried to identify the connection of them with the Christian belief regarding otherworld. Değerli hocalarım, değerli öğrenciler ve katılımcılar, hepinizi tekrar selamlıyorum. Sözlerime çalışmanın konusu olan Hieronymus Bosch'tan bahsederek başlamak istiyorum. Hollandalı ressam Hieronymus Bosch, erken dönem Rönesans sanatçısıdır. Eserleri dünyanın birçok ülkesinde beğenilmekte ve halen daha eserleri üzerine yapılan çalışmalar canlılığını korumaktadır. 20. yüzyılın araştırmacıları Bosch'un sanatının geleneksel dini inançları yansıttığını dile getirir. Katolik inancına mensup bir Hristiyan olan Hieronymus Bosch, mensubu olduğu dinin inanç esaslarından olan ahiret inancını eserlerinde sık sık yansıtmaktadır. Bunun aksine 20. yüzyılın bazı sanat tarihçileri de eşsiz hayal gücüyle tasarladığı canavar figürleri nedeniyle onu sapkın bir ressam olarak addederek dine aykırı bir tutum içerisinde olduğu kanısına varmıştır. Ancak Hieronymus Bosch dini bütün bir Hristiyandı ve ayrıca onun sanat yapıtlarında ahiret, cennet ve cehennem betimlemeleri psikolojik ve sosyolojik etmenlerle beraber onun inancı etkisinde şekilleniyordu. Hieronymus Bosch sanat yapıtlarında özgün uslubuyla öteki dünyaya dair eşsiz tasvirler sunmaktadır. Bu sanatsal yapıtlarından cennet ve cehennem betimlemelerinin yer aldığı tablolarından biri olan, aynı zamanda bu çalışmanın konusu olan Ahiret Vizyonları adlı yapıtı, ikonografiyi en güzel biçimde yansıttığı eserlerinden biridir. Bu eser toplamda 4 panelden oluşan poliptik bir eserdir. 2 cennet ve 2 cehennem tasviri yer alır. Sağ tarafta bulunan ve mükafatı simgeleyen 2 panelde cennet bahçesi olarak ifade edebileceğimiz karasal cennet tasviri ve kutsanmışların yükselişi, sol panelde bulunan ceza ve acıyı simgeleyen 2 panel ise lanetlilerin düşüşü ve cehennem isimli tasvirlerdir. Zaman kısıtlaması sebebiyle konuyu daha dar açıdan ele alıp eserin ikonografik analizine dair bilgiler vermek istiyorum. Öncelikle Bosch'un cennet tasvirleri incelendiğinde İlk olarak sağ panelde bulunan çıplak insan figürleri dünyevi hayatta güzel fiilleri sonucunda cennete girmeye hak kazanan insanları simgelemektedir. Bahçedeki bu bekleyiş Tanrı ile birleşmeden önce insanda kalan son günahtan arınmanın gerçekleştiği bir basamak gibidir. Mitolojik bir unsur olan geyik ve kuş figürlerini ele alacak olursak, onlar da kutsal kitapta sıkça ifade edilen dirilişin simgesidir. Sol panelde bulunan çıplak insan figürleri ise bulutların arasından yükselerek tünelden geçen, kutsanmış olan ruhların ebedi hayata geçişini ifade eder. Hristiyan resim sanatında cennet iki tür resmedilir. Dünyevi cennet ve göksel cennet olmak üzere. Dünyevi cennet tıpkı sağ paneldeki gibi içinde ağaçların, suyun, hayvanların, canlıların bulunduğu ve insanın kendisinde bulunduğu günahtan arındığı bir bahçe olarak tasvir edilir. Göksel cennet ise tıpkı sol paneldeki gibi meleklerin kutsanmış ruhlara rehberliği sonucunda bu ruhların ebedi hayata eriştiği sahne olarak tasvir edilir. Cehennem tasvirlerini ikonografik olarak incelediğimizde ise ilk olarak sağ paneldeki yılan figürü, ki buna daha yakından bakalım. Sağ paneldeki yılan figürü tıpkı İncil'de insanın ilk günahının anlatıldığı hikayede olduğu gibi şeytani bir takım eylemleri simgelemektedir. Sağ ve sol panelde bulunan çıplak insan figürleri de dünyevi hayatta kötü fiiller işlemiş olan ve bunun sonucunda bir ceza olarak azap çeken insanları simgelemektedir. Ve yine sağ ve sol panelde adeta bir kabusu andıran korkutucu hayvan figürleri, yaratıklar ve canavarlar ise günahı, şeytani kötülüğü ve ahlaki yetilerden yoksunluğu ifade eder. Tablonun içsel anlamına bakıldığında Hieronymus Bosch'ın bu eserinde cennet ve cehennem kavramlarını betimlediği ve muhtevasını inancının kutsal öğretisi olan İncil'den alarak Hristiyan inancının kredolarını aşıladığı görülmektedir. Öteki dünya kavramı adına eşsiz bir tablo örneği olan bu eser, yapmış olduğum araştırmada ayrıntılı bir şekilde incelenmiştir. Dinlediğiniz için teşekkür ederim.
Thank you, Şerife Kılıç, for your great presentation. Now we are going to take a break and we will be back at 1 o'clock for the second session. All participants and guests, thank you very much for your participation and see you soon.